Hey guys, it's Roast back with another Realm of the Mad God video, specifically Realm of the Mad God Mythbusters Episode 2. If you're new to the series, I find myths and trivia about Realm, put them to the test, and I tell you guys the results. Today's myths will be about mechanics behind some higher tier gear, specifically Soul's Guidance and Twilight Gemstone, some interesting stuff with pets, and another round of Soulbound phase testing. Huge thanks to my patrons. If you'd like to join them and get your name in the videos, there's info on that in the description. Also, we're getting really close to 1,000 subs on YouTube, which is super cool, so thank you everyone who has helped there. If you have more myths for me to test, drop them in the comments so I can try them in the future episodes. But for now, let's get started with myth number 1. Myth number 1. A max pet requires a 50-50 fusion and not a 50XX for max fusion. So, today's first myth is about pets. If you've gone through the trouble of maxing pets, you have probably heard that you need to fully max your pets, as in 70 here, 70 here, before fusing, or else their max level won't be as high. Given the large amount of fame and items you have to invest, most people won't really question this and just listen. But we want to put it to the test. We want to learn. So we're going to do that today. Basically, we're going to see what happens when we take two pets that are maxed out in all stats. We're going to take two pets that are maxed out in only the first stat, and then we're going to take two pets that are not maxed out in either stat, and see what the fuse results are and how far they can get at the next stage. Afterwards, we'll talk a little bit about the results, and we will move on to the next myth. Enjoy! So, here on the testing server, which is super useful for this, I've got a bunch of rare pets. Their abilities max out at 70, and I've got some chickens that I can feed that have crazy high feed power, right? So, to test this, it's going to be real simple. We're going to first verify what we already know, and that is we're going to take two pets and just, we're going to find two pets and max them out. So I'll just feed this leprechaun 2 items, max him all the way out. So now we have these two maxed, and so if I fuse this guy and this guy, we get a maxed fusion, which is what we want to get. That is where we will always have, we get our third ability, and we can level him up all the way. I'm not going to actually feed this because I want to use these for the other ones, but I could, and you see they do max out, which is what we wanted to make sure of. Now, we will test two pets that are maxed out on the first ability, but not on the rest. So let's take this mermaid, max her on her first ability. Let's take this leprechaun and max him on his first ability. And then we'll fuse this mermaid with this leprechaun. So what we're curious to see here is, will it tell us it's a maxed fusion or a good fusion? So it tells us it's a maxed fusion. So it looks like you only need... Interesting. And just to verify, yeah, you only need to max out the first ability. Now, I think what this changes around is how much feed and fame you exactly have to invest here, because feeding later levels costs more fame. But I think this way is less fame efficient and more feed power efficient if you only max the first ability, but I'm not sure of that. But that's really interesting to know. Okay, cool. And the last thing we want to test, just to make sure we're not crazy, is we're going to fuse two pets that are crappy and make sure we don't get a max fusion. So we're going to fuse these two mermaids. Fusion. We get an attack far off them. And I just want to see... So yeah, it only goes up 20. And you can see there that it maxes out at 70. Which is super not good for a legendary pet. Good to know, though. But yeah, that's the results of this one. So it is false that a max pet requires all maxed abilities. It is true or confirmed that you only have to max the first ability for maxed fusion. And the way to verify this is when you fuse pets, look for this maxed thing right here. Don't look for bad, don't look for good, only look for max, and you'll be all set. Cool. Cool. Good to know. Alright, friends, on to myth number 2. Mad Scientist Robe and Twilight Gemstone do not stack. So, like I said, our second myth has to do with 2 items that reduce the mana cost of your abilities, specifically the Twilight Gemstone from the Archmage and Shatters, and the Robe of the Mad Scientist from Mad Labs. Each of these discounts your ability cost, this by 25, the Mad Lab Robe by 25%, and the Gemstone by 30%. If they don't stack, Gemstone is a 30% reduction. If they stack additively, your ability should be 55% cheaper, because 30 plus 25 is just 55. And if they stack multiplicatively, it should be a 47.5% reduction. So if they stack, it should be a huge reduction in cost, and if you have something like Tablet with a very high magic heal pet, you may be able to perma-cast it. So let's go do some testing. So I have this tier 6 spell for 80 mana. I'm going to see if I have any higher mana. Yeah, I might actually use this Sea Scroll, because I want to test stuff with really high mana costs. I'm going to check my gift chest here and see if I have any really, really expensive spells. I do not. Shame. Okay, anyways. So, when I equip this, our cost goes down to 56. Does it go down further? So, given that our mana cost was 80, if it's below 40, if it goes below 40, it means they stack additively. Oh, do they not stack at all? That would not be very cool. They don't appear to stack at all. 515, 459. 515, 459. Oh no, they don't stack. I want to take that off. It goes to 60. Alright, let's try the other spell out. So 385, it costs 90 instead of 120 to 295. Yep, okay, that math checks out. 84. They don't stack. No. Oh, man. Boys, I was thinking you could get the Robe plus the Gemstone and then Tablet and just blast stuff, but it appears that that is not actually the case. That is unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Shame. So that myth is confirmed. Gemstone and Mad Lab's Robe do not stack. What a shame. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. Myth number 3. Soul's Guidance gives soulbound damage to everyone. Alright friends, so like I said, our third myth today has to do with the Soul's Guidance Wand. The neat thing about this wand is that as you fire it, it has a chance to summon souls that wander and explode. Have you ever seen the little blue balloons that kind of float around before they pop? That's from Soul's Guidance. The myth that we are testing is that if a friend or anyone in the dungeon is using this, you are supposed to be able to get soulbound damage without hitting the boss, because these exploding souls are supposed to count for everyone's soulbound threshold. I don't know how this would work, because even pets don't count for your soulbound damage, but I need to know. So let's go to some dungeons to test it out. To help me, I've got my buddy Zomi, or Yejas, and we're just going to hop in a cemetery, and actually I'm going to trade him the Soul's Guidance first, and then we'll hop into a cemetery. And I'm just going to kind of be watching him fight the boss. It's going to be great. You ready?
Yep.
Alright, let's go. So I picked Haunted Cemetery because a bunch of bosses spawn. So hopefully these little souls will be enough damage for me to get soulbound without touching the boss. We're gonna have to see. We do a lot of damage. I don't think I'm getting it. I think we do too much. Yeah, I only got public loot that time. Was not enough. Let's see if just me and you do it on this next one.
Yeah, that guy was in here.
Yeah. So it wasn't enough on that first boss, but we can double check. Because it's not a lot of damage, and they aren't guaranteed to hit either. So it's a bit iffy, right? Right. Nice boss. Nice boss. I don't know if he's actually either. They tend to miss a lot. Yeah, I got 0 again, Sag.
It's not looking good.
It is not looking good. They don't have good pathing, I guess. If they had better pathing, maybe it'd be more reliable. But what's it so wait. I don't know much about it, so little block stones. I don't know how good DPS is, but I guess little block stones. We're supposed to have advantage, not just years. Yeah, and I'm curious if anything, but that would be for today. First, I get first, right now we got because I have 0. Right, I need tokens. I can't get. Yeah, like they wander weird. Like I'm just watching where they wander. Oh, I got Soulbound that time.
You did?
Okay. I got a blue bag.
Oh, okay, cool.
Interesting. I see how this looks. But yeah, that is so I got that mythbuster. I need the open. There they are. Hey, there's other things. Alright, now boss ones, I see them. These are guys' souls. It's kind of a hard for them to land on them because they have really bad pathing.
Moving too much.
Yeah, I got 0 that time. Shame.
Oh my.
So, out of the 4 bosses so far, I'm 1 for 4. Yeah. The boss ones, I'm actually left.
He didn't steal, so.
Yeah, he still starts. No, where the hell are they going?
That's not what's supposed to happen.
That's the other idea I have, is he might. So I think also is there sort of thing for premium and Paris from Weaver's.
Did you get
Oh, I got an ST. Huh.
Really?
Yeah. I got a blueprint rather. Oh, we got Pumpkin Master.
Oh my god. See
Huh.
if you can get Soulbound on this.
Alright, well, you're doing great, Zoe. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No damage.
Pacifist run.
It must be so boring for you right now.
It was weird. No, when I did O3 testing too, and it was very weird. Oh, I did not get Soulbound that time, actually.
What? Bro, you standing still the whole time.
That's very strange. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I thought of all the ones for me to get Soulbound on, that would be the one. Yeah, I got 0. Huh.
So what now?
Well, now we go back to the Nexus. So I'm pretty sure. So like, I 100% got Soulbound on what's it called? Yeah, on 2 of them.
Yeah.
100% got Soulbound on 2 out of 6. I don't know what to make of that because 2 out of 6 is not a high ratio, you know. I think this will be our first plausible myth. Yeah, this is gonna be our first plausible or unconfirmed or whatever they call it, because I got Soulbound twice without hitting the boss, but also I missed out on Soulbound 4 times because I didn't hit the boss. You know?
Yeah.
So I think plausible's a good call on that one. Alright, boys. Myth number 4. You only get Soulbound on Oryx 3 by hitting him during his exalted phase. So, our last myth of the day is going to be more testing on Soulbound damage and phases of bosses. Today's boss is Oryx 3, and we want to know, do you have to hit him in both exalted and normal phase, or only in one? And if you only have to hit him in one, which one? Testing for this is pretty straightforward. I go do some O3s. I hit Oryx 3 in normal phase, and then not at all in exalted. And if I get loot, I try it the other way. If we get loot both ways, we know he doesn't have a Soulbound reset. But if I get loot one way, we will test again to verify results and then report on them. Enjoy! Alright, exalted, I stopped shooting. I just have to loot now.
Mounts, tree jumps, 3 shotgun.
Right?
That was
Yeah, there we go.
good, dude.
That was a long one. Alright, so I'm not going to hit it all until he goes back to non... Well, we'll hit him once he goes back to non-exalted. Got loot. Confirmed.
Wow, blueprint. Thanks for coming. I'm not sure if I have time. I'll probably put up another FPS.
Alright, boys. Well, we got loot on Oryx.
That was weird.
From only hitting normal Oryx. No hits on Exalted. I'm not gonna say that in chat because they might be told like, bro, we didn't hit Exalted at all. So I'm not gonna tell them that a little bit, okay? But now we know. Alright, friends. So today we are testing the Soulbound mechanics on Oryx 3. The plan, because I've already tested the normal Oryx and I was able to get loot by just hitting normal Oryx during Oryx 3. This run, assuming I make it to Oryx 3, I will just be blasting the exalted version of Oryx. Alright, so I don't hit Oryx until non-exalt, or until exalted.
Alright, now he's in exalt.
Alright, now I can blast him. Okay, he's touching nice. Yeah.
You know why you gotta break the bad luck spell?
Alright, can't hit now. He's not exalted. Do I get loot?
Just
I got
keep
loot.
going,
Confirmed.
keep pushing.
You can get loot from Oryx,
1.7.
hitting him both exalted and non-exalted. Confirmed.
Yeah, 60 here.
Doesn't matter which phase you hit him in. There is no... You're good either way. Alright, friends. So that wraps up all of our tests for this episode of Realm of the Mad God Mythbusters. Let's go over what we found out today. First, the myth of maxing a pet requiring all of the abilities to be maxed is busted. You only need to max the first ability. Second, the myth that you cannot stack the Mad Lab Robe and the Twilight Gemstone is confirmed, and I may never recover from the emotional damage. Third, the myth that Soul's Guidance gives soulbound damage to everyone is plausible, because I only got 2 out of 6 bosses to drop soulbound gear when I ran a haunted cemetery with my buddy. And I think that's because the Soul's Wander path isn't very optimized, so they don't always hit the enemy, especially if it's a very mobile one. And the Soul's damage is very low, so sometimes it just won't hit the threshold. And last myth of the day was the myth that 03 Soulbound only comes from his exalted phase, and that myth is busted. You can totally get Soulbound just from normal or just exalted phase, whichever you prefer. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. I really enjoy making these videos, but they take ages to put together. If you have more myths, make sure to comment them so I can put them to the test. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. But until then, keep it beefy, boys.
Hello there. Auto.